Hello, it's Professor Gabor, and I want to talk about Chapter 4, Building a Strong Relationship between IT and the business. So, what is an IT business relationship? I think we've already talked about it in the other three chapters that we've covered so far. But here, as a quote, it's a set of beliefs that one party holds about the other and how these beliefs are formed from the interactions of individuals as they engage in tasks associated with an IT service. Many times a business can think that IT is an end in its own, an entity looking to dictate to the business what to do. That's obviously a wrong thing to do. And IT can look at business as maybe not understanding what is possible and what is capable, and maybe asking for unrealistic things. Not sure. Oh, what we do know about the business IT relationship? Well, it's certainly multifaceted, it's complex. It tends to cluster into patterns. IT is a necessary evil, IT is a support but not a partner. Business and IT are partners. You can see where this is going. You want it to be as seamless as possible. You want that partnership to exist. You want business people to understand more about IT, and you want IT people to understand certainly more about the business and the business needs. The characteristics of the relationship. IT has to keep proving itself. Well, in modern business, everybody has to keep proving themselves. It's also business is often disengaged from IT work. I see that less and less as people have had ERP systems and had to interface with IT on a regular basis to get things done. Business expectations of IT change continually. Well, I guess that's the case, but IT changes continually, so it has to change continually. And business assumptions of IT tend to cluster. As we talked before, I think that has to do with the leadership. I mean, some leaders in the business side of things don't trust anybody outside their own function. And IT is outside their own function, they're going to look at it that way. If you have a leader of IT that's a strong man or a strong woman with those same kind of beliefs, guess what? That's going to influence how they look at the business side as well. A relationship is affected by the interaction of many people and processes at multiple levels. Well, you could say that's an interaction with purchasing. You could say that's an interaction with HR. Clarity is often lacking around expectations and accountabilities. That could apply to any function that we're talking about, I think. So therefore, you have to have that clarity. You have to have that willingness to be a good partner, whoever you're partnering with. And to eliminate those many disconnects that could exist between two groups and actually create the connects. One of the ways of doing that is to have an IT person that's focused on operations or supply chain, an IT person that's associated with HR, an IT person that's associated with whatever function that you're thinking about, maybe even an executive level IT person. Finance tends to work that way. I mean, as a leader of a supply chain operation, I had an IT person that didn't report to me, and I had a finance person that didn't report to me, but they were matrixed into my organization. That built that kind of clarity and good accountability and a good relationship, depending on the person, of course, that was assigned to me and how I interacted with that person, between both finance and IT. And I like the relation, let's look at IT and finance kind of in the same way. So what's the foundation of a strong business IT relationship? Is are we able to add value, both of us working together? Is there trust? Is there interpersonal interaction that's positive? I guess with trust and credibility and competence, those kind of go together. And all of those things add to the value. So if we look at these things, expertise, the ability to support a technical recommendation and have up-to-date knowledge. If there's something I don't understand about IT and I go to my IT person, they say, oh, yes, we can do this, we can't do that, this is what's happening, here's trends in the industry, blah, blah, blah. And when they don't know, to be honest and say, I don't know, but I will find out. Financial awareness, the ability to identify the value of IT in terms of return on investment and the total cost of ownership. That's a change in IT that I think I saw happening when I was still in industry, which I said earlier was over 12 years ago. Execution, the ability to understand business, develop a vision, and operationalize strategy. Well, the other word for execution is to get it done on a timely basis and to deliver what the business needs and what was promised. Now, that's a two-way street. You can't deliver and execute if the business isn't involved. So find ways to develop business knowledge in all IT staff. Well, the more that you have this like matrixed organizational approach, you're going to have IT people that can interface with the business. You're going to have business people that go over to IT because they like the IT part of it. They're not going to be coders. They're not going to be programmers, but they're going to be people that understand business processes. Link IT success criteria to business metrics. We talked about that in the last chapter. And make business value an explicit criteria in all IT decisions. That is probably one of the key points here. We've got to add business value. How do we measure that? How do we execute it and ensure all effective execution in all IT activities? This is like common sense, not only building block number one, so it's competence. Credibility. Do what you say you're going to do. Acting with integrity, honesty, and openness, being responsive. I mean, that's how you build credibility between any two people, any two entities. And it applies no less in the IT world. Strengthening the credibility. Well, yeah, here's things again. These apply to any two entities, any two business functions, trying to have credibility with each other. Communicate frequently and explicitly. Pay attention to all the little things, whatever that means. Sometimes people say the devil is in the details. Utilize external cues to credibility. And, if there's some lingering distrust from previous regimes, if you will, know when you hear those cues popping up and show that they're no longer valid. Assess all business touch points and assess it by being involved, I think, is the easiest way to do that. Professionalism. So, attitudes and behavior. Again, this applies not just to IT, but you could fill it for any functions. Your comportment, appearance, manners on the job, preparation. You want to display competence and good organization, communication skills, judgment, and attitude. You can't be aloof. There was a time where I've seen IT people that are aloof and think they're above the business. You don't know, stay out of my sandbox. We'll give you the tools that we think you need to have when you need to have them. And that's not the case, and it hasn't been the case for a while. Non-technical communication. This is key. And not all IT people can do this. Not all business people can do this. Not all engineers can do this. Not all purchasing people can do it. Not all quality people can do it. But you want to have the ability to translate and interpret needs and explain things in a language that the party that you're explaining it to can understand. That's not something that's inherent in any functional area. It's inherent in the kind of people that you put in those liaison kinds of jobs. Social skills, the ability to build mutual understanding. I mean, by having someone on the team that understands the business and is catering to that business. My IT guy doesn't report to me, he's on my team though, and acts like one of my team, and has the social skills to be one of the gang, basically. That's huge. Management of politics and conflict. There's always going to be politics because you're trying to prioritize what projects will be run and which projects won't be run, which things will be updated and not updated. So this is something critical that an entity like an IT representative in a functional area needs to be able to master. And he's the he's the face of IT for that organization. So strengthening interpersonal relationships. You expect professionalism, promote a variety of social interactions at all levels, and develop soft skills in an IT staff. You can't have a staff of all programmers and coders that want to be loners and just code. That won't ever work. Probably never worked before, and certainly won't work in the modern era. Trust. So effective governance is what they say is a way to build trust, certainly. Be clear in your communications and consistent in your communication. So here, integrating planning, defined accountabilities, and clarities of roles and responsibilities are key for effective governance. Notice there's not the word IT in there at all, or the letters IT in there at all. That applies to any functional area in any business, in any organization. It's not a surprise that it applies here as well. An effective governance addresses the business expectation of its IT function. Well, if you're trying to do something in IT, you've got to make sure you address the business expectations. You can't make the promises of a return on investment without also laying out the expectations of, yes, you can get these returns on investments, but it's not going to be guaranteed and automatic. You actually have to put some effort into it, as we will together have to put effort into it to reap the benefits that we're talking about. And of course, you have to design governance for clarity and transparency. That was, if it wasn't clear in previous slides, let's make it clear now. You have to mandate the relationship. I think you have to have that mandate that you expect an excellent relationship between IT and whatever functional area you're working with. And you want to design your organization in IT for what to serve the business, and therefore you're meeting business expectations. So in conclusion, we can say the relationships are complex, but things tend to be as complex as they need to be. Don't make them overly complex. Interactions of many types at all levels, but you want those touch points at the leadership level, I would say at manager and director level, as needed. And 4 major components are needed to build a strong business IT relationship. We talked about competence, credibility, interpersonal skills, and trust. It was a short chapter, but a sweet one. Thank you very much.